Okay, so during the whole lockdown thing, we've seen multiple challenges, mainly coming from Jamie Carragher's Twitter. The players who were born on a Monday 11, the players with a Q in their name 11. On this channel we've had a squad of players from different leagues, while on 7th we've had players from different countries. So today I'm merging the two and picking the best possible starting 11 using only one player from each league, and I can only use each nationality once. Christ, this is going to be tricky. In goal I've got Fernando Muslera. Our first player comes from the Turkish Super League, and it's Galatasaray and Uruguay number 1 Fernando Muslera. Don't be put off by the fact he was born in Argentina. Muslera is Uruguayan through and through, named after a former Uruguay striker Fernando Muslera. So just because he was born in Argentina, that doesn't mean he counts as that country's pick. There's still room for Franco De Santo, don't worry. But Muslera is a great keeper and a solid option for this team, considering the fact he comes from an obscure league, a nation that has 2 superstar forwards who are sadly overshadowed in their respective leagues. Right back, Mario Fernandez. Okay, this one's a lot more contentious, as Mario Fernandez was born in Brazil, started his career in Brazil, has a cap for the Brazilian national team, but is now a Russian international as well. The CSKA Moscow defender was granted Russian citizenship back in 2016 courtesy of Vladimir Putin, and even got himself a goal at the 2018 World Cup for his new country. So for that reason, he's a sound choice as right back and our Russian representative, meaning we can still include a Brazilian later on in the team. I mean, we haven't only included Fernandez because he plays for Russia in the Russian top flight, he's a decent player too, but his location and new nationality certainly helps matters. Before we continue, HITC Sport's been nominated for an award. We're up for Best in Video at the 2020 Football Content Awards, and if you want to vote for us, you can. I'll pop a link in the description below, so if you're a fan of what we do here and you like us more than the other channels nominated, then a vote would be absolutely lovely. Anyway, back to this team. My first centre back is Koulibaly. Okay, this is where the controversy starts. Koulibaly is my Serie A representative, meaning there sadly is no Cristiano Ronaldo in this team. He was in there to begin with, but then the next thing I knew I was scouring the Australian A-League for a defender to complete my team. And that's the key word here, team. This is about trying to make the best possible team, and while Ronaldo is without a doubt one of the best ever to play the beautiful game, taking him out means we have a much stronger defence. There's no point having the best attackers in the world if you've got a defence that wouldn't look out of place in a pub league. And Koulibaly, we've actually got one of the best defenders in the world today, so it's not like he's a bad choice really. He's alongside Ruben Dias. The lack of Cristiano Ronaldo continues to have repercussions, as it means there's still room for a Portuguese player in the 11. And considering Portugal's Primeira Liga is pretty good quality, Benfica defender Ruben Dias seems like the perfect partner for Koulibaly at the back. Dias is only 23 but mature in defence, and there's a reason why he's been linked with a big money move away from Benfica pretty much every week. Dias is part of an exciting crop of Portuguese talent alongside the likes of Bruno Fernandez and Bernardo Silva, proving there'll be life in the Iberian nation once Ronaldo eventually hangs up his boots. Left back is David Alaba. While the Bundesliga has some of the best attackers around, from Lewandowski to Jadon Sancho, it's a defender who decided to go with, as David Alaba is an absolute class act. The Austrian has picked up where Philipp Lahm left off, with Alaba capable of playing all over the defence, even in midfield, barely putting a foot wrong no matter where he plays. The emergence of Alphonso Davies has seen Alaba play more in the middle of defence lately, but it's at left back where he's playing in my team, rounding off what is a pretty solid defence. My first midfielder is Donny van der Beek. From the Netherlands we've got one of Ajax's superstars, and one of the few players who wasn't sold off last summer after their incredible Champions League journey. Van der Beek is a joy to watch for Ajax, a goal-scoring midfielder who passes the ball with precision and grace, and a player who is destined to go on to bigger things, most likely this summer when the transfer window opens. But for now, Van der Beek is representing the Netherlands in the Eredivisie in my World 11. Next up I've got Kevin De Bruyne. With Donny van der Beek representing the Dutch, it means Virgil van Dijk isn't allowed in this team, meaning Kevin De Bruyne was the obvious Premier League representative. While Van Dijk might be the best defender in the world today, De Bruyne is without a doubt the best player in England, with the Belgian midfielder creating chances and providing passes from the most ludicrous of angles. No matter where you are on a pitch, Kevin De Bruyne will find you and he will pass the ball to you. His service is so good you'd think he'd been a waiter in a past life. Our third midfielder is Marek Hamšík. With limited top class divisions and nations, we're going to go to the Far East for our third midfielder, and I'm going to pick Slovakian superstar Marek Hamšík, who's playing in the Chinese Super League for Dalian Yifan. At 32, Hamšík maybe isn't the force he once was during his Napoli days, but he's still one of the most underappreciated players of the past decade. In Serie A, Hamšík was out of this world at times, and it's a shame he never played at an even higher level where he could have won even more trophies. But he gets a place in this team, although that's merely down to the fact he's taken his talents to China. My front three starts with Lionel Messi. I mean, I know I pushed the boundaries by not picking Cristiano Ronaldo, but ignoring Lionel Messi would be the definition of insanity. I mean, who else was I going to pick from La Liga? It was hardly going to be Martin Braithwaite or Mariano. Of course Lionel Messi's in this team, he's the best player on the bloomin' planet. There's been about 30 different versions of this team that I've gone through, redrafting and redrafting, changing one player, changing another, trying to find that perfect team, but Lionel Messi was always going to feature, no questions asked. Next up is Edouard. Now here's a man who was a late addition to the side and heavily influenced who the final player in the team was going to be, but more on that in a moment. As for Edouard, you should all know him as the young French striker scoring goal after goal in Scotland, clearly just waiting for a bigger club to pluck him away from Celtic Park. This season Edouard has scored 28 goals in all competitions, in a season that was ended early because of the whole global health crisis. While he isn't the biggest name in this team and an obscure option to represent world champions France, Edouard is going to be a top player, and we'll run out of leagues to pick from, okay? Rangers fans, please calm down. And finally I've got Neymar. With no player picked from Brazil or Ligue 1 yet, there's no prizes for guessing that Neymar was the final player in this team. In the end it was a toss-up between Mbappe or Neymar, and we decided to go with the Brazilian, which may come as a surprise considering the last time I included Neymar in a video I described him as a waste of money and pissed everyone off. I mean, it was just meant to be a joke, but it went down as well as Harry Kane on corners. To be honest, I didn't know that many people loved Neymar. He always comes across as a player who's universally hated. But anyway, on a football pitch he's untouchable at times and deserves his place in this Super World 11, representing the nation of Brazil and the Farmers League of France. I'm joking, it was a joke. We don't need another mutiny in the comments, I'm already scared about the whole Ronaldo thing. But there we have it, there's the team. 11 different leagues and 11 different nationalities, but there are some big ones left out. I haven't got a Spanish player, a German player or an English player, while I've only used one non-European league. There's probably 1,000,001 different combinations, so everyone's team's going to be different, so please give me yours in the comments below. I'd love to see what you can all come up with. But please remember, there's no right or wrong answer, it's just an opinion, so let's all be nice to each other in this cruel and horrible world we live in. But anyway, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at HITC James, and if you want to vote for us to win the Best in Video at the 2020 Football Content Awards, you can via the link in the description below. But until next time, thank you for watching and we'll see you around.